have a strong disdain for this topic because I feel like it shouldn't be happening in America. But unfortunately, there has been another school shooting. This time it occurred at Apalachee High School in Georgia. It's on September the 4th. So around 9:30ish, Colt Gray walked out of his Algebra 1 class. It was second period. Colt Gray was supposed to be in Algebra 1, but he had walked out of the class. He later tried to return, but he couldn't enter the room because the door was locked. So he goes down the hall to another classroom and began his shooting spree. The spree took the lives of 4 people, 2 teachers and 2 students. He injured at least 9 more. He later surrendered to resource and sheriff officers. This young lady here was one of the first students that saw Colt before he started off on this spree, and thank God for her actions because she ended up saving the lives of the teachers and the students in her classroom in general.
Lay eyes on Colt Gray just moments before she says he began his deadly rampage.
Like, he knocked on the door. I saw him holding a bag and just pulling the gun out. I'm not sure what kind of bag was it, but I seen him pulling it out of a bag, and like the gun was so big. Like,
Gray was her classmate, and their class the first he tried to enter, she tells CNN.
I always look out the door before I open it. That's just like it's a habit my mom taught me.
But as her teacher instructed her to let him back in, she said,
I know he has a gun. If I would have opened the door, then like he would have got every single one of us in that class. And I don't want me, my teacher, my friends in the class, and my other classmates, I don't want none of us to get hurt. So I just didn't go. Like, I thank God that I did not open that door.
Jones said Gray moved on to her sister's class down the hall.
Colt shot my teacher multiple times.
Malaysia Mitchell says she'll never be able to erase the image of her teacher, Richard Aspinwall, begging for help.
And we had to drag our teacher's body and fully into the classroom. We heard him take his last breath.
Mitchell says she felt powerless.
I've been trained what to do, like give CPR and other stuff, but I couldn't because I couldn't help him. So I ended up having a seizure.
The 14-year-old suspect.
And that man, Richard Aswall, he was also the defensive coordinator for their football team. He was married and had 2 young daughters that will never remember their father. He's 39 years old. And what makes me so upset about this situation is this demonic domestic terrorist, Colt Gray, had only been at that school for 2 days. He was a new student, freshman. You send your kids to school for them to get an education, not to deal with these terrorists that decide to come up there and terrorize people because of their own issues. And it really bothers me because I have nephews that are in school. I drop them off sometimes and I pick them up. And I would hate for my sister or my brother-in-law or the school to call me and say, hey, you gotta go up to the school because somebody started shooting in their school. My nephew is in the 2nd grade. I got one in kindergarten. This is the call that you never want. And I'm not even a parent yet. I'm just an aunt. But it's unacceptable. This demonic domestic terrorist, lives of multiple people and injured even more. And he sat up there and surrendered, because he values his life. Now let's get into some of the victims. Christian Angelo. He is described by his friends and family as a beautiful soul, was loved by so many. His sister, Lisetta Angelo, shared, unfortunately, my baby brother was one of the victims of the school shooting at Apalachee High School. He was only 14 years old. He was a very good kid and a very sweet and so caring. He was so loved by many. His loss was so sudden and unexpected. We were truly heartbroken. He really didn't deserve this. He didn't. Just turned 14. Mason Scammerhorn, this young man, he was autistic. And a news station decided to use his photo initially, saying that he was the school shooter. Didn't know Gray. His family actually thought that he had scattered away because he got scared, only to find out that he ended up losing his life in the shooting. And he was also 14 years old. The teenager was autistic, and his family urged anyone who found him to use a calm voice, let him know his mom is looking for him for reassurance. And his sister shared his photo and said, "Thank you to everyone that shared. Unfortunately, my brother did not make it out of school alive." The teenager really enjoyed life, always had an upbeat attitude about everything. Mason loved playing video games on his PS5 and VR headset. His favorite was Roblox and Machine. His sister says he would always be stumping around above her bedroom as he plays. It's now something she says she'll miss hearing.
But does it every single...
He died while protecting his students. Coach Aspinwall was a really good coach, and he has a good heart. My condolences to his wife and his loved ones, and especially his little girls. Christina Mary, she was 53 years old. She was a math teacher as well, and she was a beloved teacher, wife, daughter, and friend, and a young man said this about her.
One of the teachers was my algebra teacher. She was my fourth period teacher. That same morning, she walked up to me, and I had threw up yesterday, so she asked me if I was okay. And she was asking me to come to class on time because, you know, my class is like right across the whole school, so I'd be coming to class late. She was begging me to come to class on time today. And I didn't know that was gonna be my last time seeing her and talking to her.
I know, Isaac. So how are you processing this?
It don't feel real. I just can't believe my teacher, somebody that I see every day. You know, it just don't feel real.
Before you go, Isaac, tell us what she was like. What was her name? What was she like?
Miss Army.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Army. When I first came into class, Miss Army, she be telling corny jokes, and at the time it's just like, you know, when you a student, you're just like, what is she talking about? But now it's just like, dang, like, you know. And Miss Army, she was real nice. I'm not gonna lie, my freshman year, I didn't pass algebra, so I'm retaking algebra my junior year. And she never made me feel ashamed about it. She never made me feel dumb. You could get a question wrong on the board, and she's not gonna make you feel dumb. She really make you, you know, she'll make you feel welcome. And all she do is just tell random jokes, and, you know, she really make you feel welcome, and she'll help you out. I'm not really good at math, but I just got the understanding of math just this year, being 3 weeks of school.
Isaac,
really
I know
nice.
this.
And it was also revealed that she's 53 years old. She is married. She wasn't able to have kids of her own, so her students were her kids. She actually baked the cake so they could celebrate her birthday. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that because, you know, Colt Gray had other plans. Why didn't anyone do anything about it? Well, Colt Gray, it turns out, has been on the FBI watch list for a year because of his activity in a Discord. And they did go and talk to his father.
Good dudes, just they're
Hey Colt, what's going on, bud? Saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions had made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living
Yeah,
here?
Colt Gray.
Colt?
Yeah, Colt. He's my oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how whatever or where this is coming from is no joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know, and I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit.
Okay.
All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
Scary.
scary.
Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school. Good dudes. Just they're
Hey Colt, what's going on, bud? So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Said something about shooting up a school.
Did you say something about school shooting?
Never, I just told him, I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else. I would never say I was threatening.
You never ever said.
No, I swear.
I'd hate to. You know, my boss was even like, you know, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, nah, I'd rather do it now because.
So would we.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job.
Yeah, God forbid
I'd
it.
feel
God forbid.
pretty bad about that. Take it at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying. but it's
It's a serious thing. Yeah.
it's not unusual for people to lie to police. If you look me in the eye and you tell me that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take it at your word right now. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But like I was telling your dad, if we find out otherwise, then it's a different story. Okay?
It's a really different story.
Now, when his father said, if it turns out he did, he wouldn't have access to gun. Well, after this particular interview, he decided to gift his son with an AR-15 for Christmas. Because this happened May 21st, 2023. Colt idolized school shooters. I believe the Sandy Hook shooter is who he named his username after. That more FBI tips were examined 2 days later on May 23rd. Tips came from people in Australia and California who were concerned about the comments made by a Discord user. The tip included information associated with the user's account, including the account email address. Investigators determined that the email belonged to Colt Gray and that the account had been created April 2nd, 2023, after Gray had claimed to have deleted it. The user's profile of the Discord account was also suspicious. Investigators noted that the account name was written in Russian and it then translated spelled Lazanza, a reference to Adam Lazanza, the perpetrator of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Gray and his father told deputies that they did not recognize the email associated with the account and that neither of them spoke Russian. In a follow-up interview, the team reiterated to authorities that he had stopped using Discord because too many people kept hacking his account and he feared someone might use his information for nefarious purposes. The investigator urged the boy's father to keep his firearms locked away and told him to keep his son out of school until this matter could be resolved. The case was cleared shortly after due to inconsistent nature of information received by the FBI. The allegations that Colt or his father is the user behind the Discord account that made the threat. This is one of the comments that Colt made. I'm committing a mass shooting and I'm waiting a good 2 to 3 years, stated the Discord account user, according to the screenshot, including an FBI incident report from May 2023. I cannot kill myself yet because I'm not contributing anything to the culture. I need to go out knowing I did. He waited a little over a year to commit this heinous crime, something that he planned out and he thought of because, he idolizes cowards that take other people's lives because they have issues of their own.
2023, the first ever deer hunt for me and Colt. He's hunting with a 450 Bushmaster.
Yes, sir.
107 yards. And let's go take a look. I'll follow you, sir. I see white. Holy crap. Look at that, brother. Go ahead and lay your rifle down on it like we had. Other way, barrel up.
Barrel up?
Yep, so you get mud in the barrel. Okay, it's okay. Lay that gun down like we had it for the picture. All right, remember it's still loaded. Okay, beautiful. All right, lean down there and hold that head up. Let me see what you busted this morning. January 8th on your first ever deer hunt. Big old giant 3-pointer. Amazing. Look at that. Look at that, son. What a hell of a shot.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How'd that 450 do? Did it kick hard? You couldn't even feel it, could you?
Nope.
What a shot. Hey, I love you, son.
Yep, I love you more.
Greatest day.
Yep.
All right, Mama. Hopefully.
This, let's see, I need to scratch this out.
Gray was charged with involuntary manslaughter, second-degree murder, and cruelty to children. And he faces up to 180 years in prison. Shout outs to you gifting your little domestic terrorist AR-15 on Christmas. To him, he thought it was a good idea to give his little demonic domestic terrorist an AR-15 for Christmas after the feds warned him about his son's activities. And the feds tipped him off, telling him that his son was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Instead of him blocking access to the weapons in his house from his 14-year-old son, He continued to allow him to have access, took him hunting, and, gifted him a gift of AR-15 for his Christmas gift. Because that seemed like a good thing to do, when the reality is the little boy needed therapy and he needed to be monitored closely. One thing I will say about his mother, even though she has her misgivings herself, she did call up to the school to warn them about her son. She even started driving the 200 miles to get there, but unfortunately she did not make it on time. The mother of the suspect, Apalachee High School gunman, told family members that she called the school the morning of the shooting and warned a counselor about extreme emergency involving her 14-year-old son, according to text messages obtained by Washington Post and an interview with a family member. The account is supported by a call log from the family's shared phone plan, which shows a 10-minute call from the mother's phone to the school starting at 9:50 a.m., about an hour and a half before witnesses have said the gunman opened fire. Now, based on a report by Fox News, he started his rampage at 9:45 a.m. So at that particular point, it was too late. Now, they did grab another student out of the class who was also named Colt Gray, but they didn't grab the right Colt Gray. The FBI also called up to the school and warned them that it might be a school shooting that day, but Colt had changed districts and schools, so they warned the wrong school. So I will give her credit for this, but let me be perfectly clear. Colt doesn't need a villain origin story. He doesn't need people to see him as an angel before something went wrong and he just went left. No, people need to see him for what he is and accept the fact that this little demon was a demon and thought this out. The only time people get a villain origin story is when they white and something goes wrong and they go and they commit domestic terrorism. Oh, he didn't have his mental health. He had a bad upbringing. It's all of these excuses. He doesn't need an excuse. What he did was wrong. And he knew exactly what he was doing. And I hope he gets everything that he deserves. His aunt, all of her infinite ignorance, decided, people needed to know about Colt and understand that he had a rough life. They're charging my 14-year-old nephew as an adult for murder. Y'all ready to see Palmer's blood in full throttle? Nah, I wouldn't be either. Please, someone get me in touch with GB. I've tried calling. I am not scared. I will not back down. I will not disrespect other parents and families that are dealing with this tragedy on the opposite end. They did not deserve this. I will not do anything but humbly support the families involved in this incident and did not ask to be participants. With that said, I will not leave my nephew standing alone when Univlad happened. I told my children that only hurt people hurt people. I did everything I could to fight for my nephew and my niece and my other nephew. Y'all can go ahead and play the blame game all you want, but the families affected by my nephew's actions deserve all the attention now. I will take care of my nephew and what he needs on this side. Just check yourself before you speak about a child. Your nephew is a domestic terrorist that took multiple people's lives. He should be tried as an adult and he should be talked about as the demon that he is. And your brother should be held to the fire as well because he supported his son in his lunacy. This isn't the first incident that we have seen when parents know something is off about their child but still give them weapons. In fact, 3 come to my mind. This one, the one that occurred, I believe, in Michigan, where the mother bought her son a gun and she knew he had problems. And also, I believe, Sandy Hook. She knew her son was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She knew it. And she bought him a specialized rifle that he used on her and the students at that school. I don't have sympathy for stuff like this. I truly do not, because it's ridiculous. And these parents need to be held accountable for their actions in these kids' life. Colt never asked for what he's been through. I'm with you 1,000%. Prayers for everyone affected, and a parent relative said in a comment. A former teacher even called him a sweet boy. I taught Colt and know firsthand he's dealt with so much. I love him and will be thinking about him and your family as you go through this tragedy. Such a sweet boy. What tragedy did they go through? Colt didn't off himself. He offed other people. Colt didn't off the people that he felt was responsible for his pain. No, Colt wanted to be remembered as a school shooter. That's what Colt wanted. He wanted to be named with all the other school shooters. He wanted to go down in history as that. What you mean he didn't ask for it? He did. He brought the gun into the school. He took those people's lives. When he couldn't get in his classroom, he found another way to make his dreams come true and go to the next classroom and shot up that classroom and ended a teacher's life in that room. He's asked for everything that he's getting. He was a sweet boy. You don't think that the people's lives that he took were sweet? You don't think that their family loved and cherished them? That's why I showed the videos and what people said about the victims. They were sweet people. They were loved by the people around them. They had people that cared for them and cherished them and that wanted them to be in their lives. But unfortunately, they couldn't have that because Colt decided otherwise. Sometimes y'all need to stop, turn crap into gold and look at stuff for what it is. Your nephew needed help, didn't get it. FBI warned your brother. He rewarded his son's bad behavior, did nothing about it. And now you trying to give this villain an origin story so he could seem more sympathetic to the public. No, absolutely not. This is a teacher, Jennifer Carter. This is what she had to post about your little sweet boy and his activities. I lied. I lied to my kids today in second period. I told them it was just a drill. I told them to get behind my couches. Thank God I ditched desks and have bulky furniture. And be quiet. The more quiet we are, the faster the drill will end. I knew it was a lie. I knew this was what I always planned my furniture arrangements for every year. My kids were able to just hide and not panic for over 10 minutes until we heard the banging at the doors, walkie-talkies and yelling in the hallway. Then I had to come clean. My kids, and that's what they are, not just my students. They are my kids. Were so brave. They still trusted me and did exactly what I asked. I felt so helpless. 18 of my kids. And all I could do was ask them to listen to me and to hide. It was the worst 20 minutes of my career. 18 kids depending on me. Anna somewhere in the building, unable to get to me or me to her. No idea what's going on. More yelling, banging on the doors, finally the doors opening. And we're evacuated to the football field. Cops everywhere. Guns pointed at us as we leave, and still they do exactly what I asked. My kids frantically looking for Anna until I have her with me. All 19 of my kids safe. My planning paid off. Planning that I wish I never had to actually execute. That's what your sweet boy Colt Gray did to his fellow peers and people he did not know because he had only been in that school for 2 days. He was a sweet boy, wasn't he?